Good evening, YouTube. It's Zulu Gullah. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Sorry for the wait. I've been on the move as usual. Y'all know me. That's what I do. Another thing too is I've held back a little bit because I wanted to, of course, continue to watch some things unfold first before I gave my insight and commentary on it. And I had to have quite a few discussions. So I was gathering some information, observing as usual, and I was having some discussions. And I got some things confirmed. Um, Everything's based around the election, the reasoning behind what's going on, um, and it's starting to tie all in together. It's making lots of sense now. Now there is some scrap within it, but that's basically the scrap is basically what the BW, the black woman, her role is in this. Um, Now it will impact you, but not right off as far as what she got going on. I call it scrap because she's being used as a pawn, and basically her shit gonna hit the fan. The black woman and the shit they got going on, being involved with these Democrats, is gonna hit the fan, and it's gonna come back to haunt them. Uh, a lot of manosphere elders, they think the gender war is over. I don't. Uh, Now, me personally, it is going to reach its peak, which they thought it was going to be something verbally or electronically, a battle, through a space like this. Because what 2.0 did as far as being able to sustain itself from attacks and censorship from the women. Uh, but see, the thing is, like, these guys get caught up in this space to where sometimes they forget or they just dwell too much in this space, and it distorts their reality like of what's going on in the real world. Okay. So the gender war is materialized or has materialized, been in effect in the real world for some time now. Okay. Now they will say that, of course, we all know that, but they talk of this space too much. For me anyway, as far as when I'm dealing with reality, you know, I'm giving a report on what's going on out here in the real world when I come into the space versus me coming in here saying that this space is something that carries a significant amount of weight that goes back out to the real world and affect the real world when it's held too sacred for me, and it's held too religiously for me because I have to move around in the real world. So I'm going to come in and out of this space, but my discussions are reports on what's going on out there, out here. So, but the gender war is not over yet. Um, it's been in effect for some time in the real world, and I'm not just talking about no stupid relationship shit, marriage and divorce shit. I'm talking about what brothers do talk about in here, but I had seen this before I even came into the space. I had seen the attack on masculinity, but I also identified the BW as the ultimate threat to you as a black man. Now, I further identified the significance of brothers staying away from sorority chicks. We always talk about the college educated chick is the worst one, but the sorority is the cream of the crop. And AKAs are at the top of the food chain when it comes to that shit. So in the next 4 to 5 years, now let me clarify something too. I have not given up on Trump. Uh, I had no intentions of giving up on Trump. I'm riding this thing out to the end, in which it's starting to look more and more in his favor. So I had to sit back and observe, mainly out of everything, the type of litigation and the different processes or avenues that he's going through to prove voter fraud and get recounts and just, uh, not having to concede the different avenues that he was going to take. So I feel pretty good about what he's doing. He's doing pretty much what I thought about or what I thought in my head. So so let me clarify that. But now getting back to uh, the BW is scrap because that's a small piece of the puzzle to bigger plays. So that's why I call it scrap. Uh, Now let me break them down, and I'm gonna get into the rest. Let me break them down, right? And hear me out when I say this. They don't even realize what they're doing. They're so emotional and disturbed and full of bullshit education that they think they're so smart that they don't even realize that they're leading themselves down a road to their own demise. Um, especially with this nonsense uh, separation politically as their own distinct group with their own needs, you know, apart from the black family, black man, black children, which is fucking psychotic. But let me get into it. I'm gonna show you the science of what they signed up for, right? Okay. Now, we're not gonna talk about liberalism, feminism, none of that shit. We're just gonna stick with two policies that's on Joe Biden's agenda, and that's gonna be in a nutshell. All right. Now, one thing that is in his policies that was mentioned before is what's related to LGBT, as far as discussions uh, in the past in regards to black women befriending LGBT, uh, particularly gay black men, but yet they want the same thing. Both of them want straight black men. Okay, so they befriend their competition, and basically they're doing it again. Uh, when Pam Keith comes out with certain statements on Twitter, like she came out with saying that, you know, 91% of black women voted for Joe Biden because we love everybody. Uh, that's going to be their downfall. All right. Now, you already side with your competition in one aspect and you continue to do it. Now, you got various LGBT agendas on Joe Biden's policies. Uh, I talked about the LGBT youth bill, which is basically going to usher in pedophilia. If he gets elected and they're able to carry that out, it's going to usher in pedophilia. So where you got normal sex ed, uh, somewhere between adolescence and high school age, which is normal. I can't quite remember, but I do believe I was in middle school or right at high school when I had sex ed, uh, which is a normal time period. That's going to get pushed to elementary school, in which that has already been done in the past, and it raised a lot of complaints and a lot of issues. Uh, I even I even recall footage which you could probably look up on YouTube, where a grandfather took his son out of a school because he found out his son was being taught about homosexuality. I think this kid was like in first or second grade, which was ridiculous. So black women are getting ready to send your kids to the slaughter. If you have young children in elementary school, well below adolescents and teenagers, they're going to be dealing with a new, expanded um, sex education with the addition of gender identity curriculum. So, you know, they're going against, like I said, they separated themselves from the black family and black man as their own distinct political group, and they get ready to send your kids to the slaughter. Okay, so they're going against their own interests in that. They get ready to commit. Um, what's that word? What's that word? Cannibalism. With that, um, going back to they love everybody, based on what Pam Keith said, the 91% of women that voted for Biden. Uh, Loving everybody itself, or just open borders. This is more of an open border aspect, saying that they love everybody to allow open borders. Other cultures are patriarchal, and other cultures are family based. So specifically, they're talking about the Latin community and other communities, and then Kamala Harris is trying to extend benefits for her Indian heritage. It was so many of them that she had set to come in or trying to get help get access to being able to come in America. So these countries and people that come from these countries are extremely patriarchal, family oriented, and there's another aspect too. They are very caste, if not racist. They're really for their own interests, so they just want access to opportunities, wealth, and resources over here, and they're not going to return the favor. So while black women continually go against patriarchy and attack straight black male masculinity, and they won't become role based and allow a man to be the head of the household, and they don't even understand that families are made through patriarchy. The predominant society that, I mean, historically or even up till now, and also through nature, uh, patriarchy cultivates family. So they don't understand that. So you're going to be in favor of other groups coming in here who are patriarchal while you contradict your whole efforts uh, to attack patriarchy. These other groups, when they come in, they're not going to be matriarchal or move to the same beat that the American black woman moves to. They're going to come in, grab up resources, opportunities, jobs, homes, and they're going to build their family uh, legacy over here, and they're still going to keep their culture and tradition. And they're going to keep their beliefs and their caste systems, and they're going to look at you still different. So they don't understand that. So I just had to break that down, break those things down. And also, let me say this too, because I almost forgot, and I apologize for that. Let me say this too, right? Now, if this bill, if this particular policy based on the open border policy goes through uh, with any Latin immigrants and other immigrants, because there's some programs and stuff set for them in that same policy. I mean, there's a lot of welfare programs set for who are they going to allow or try to help get into the country. So now, with that being said, um, the workforce that they're trying to build is going to start out with a lot of gay men and black women, which is already pretty much at that point, and it's going to exist for a while. But slowly but surely, they're going to integrate these other groups. See, they're going to replace the black race on the Democrat side. They want to replace the black race eventually. That's down the road. So that's why you got so much entanglement with China. And then, of course, these other groups have been here. I mean, the Latin community is already 13% of the population in America already, which has caught up with the black population. Even though it's a mixed Hispanic group combined, they've still caught up with the black population. And then you got Asians about half that percent and climbing. Okay. So now, what will happen is lots of Indians, lots of Asians, Latin Latins, Latin groups have already built way more communities and businesses and neighborhoods all in one. You know, there's been various groups that already had their small cities within cities established in this country uh, for many, many decades now. So the black community is going to get engulfed. Eventually, the stronghold that the gay blacks and the female blacks have on these jobs, they're going to lose a stronghold on that. And then they're not going to have family structure, proper patriarchal family structure. Me personally, I mean, I'm not even speaking for the LGBT on that particular part. I'm just talking to the black women um, as far as the family structure. So they're not going to have any strongholds in the family structure to fall back on. Uh, and if they continue to attack patriarchy and masculinity, which extends to the black male, then again, they're further, just various and many different ways that they're adding to their future demise. Okay. All right. So now let's look at it, right? They don't look at cause and effect and projection based upon what they support, as I just broke all that down to you, right? Now, think about this, right? Why attack straight black men's ability, opportunity, or potential for patriarchy, especially when you have the possibility of something you ain't never been promised before? $500 billion on the table that, you know, and this is real crazy. Listen to this. Listen to this. $500 billion on the table that if you allow straight black men to be able to gain access to utilize and put into works, it could produce quality, suitable, capable, financially attractive black men to fill a void of where that particular type of black men was so few in numbers. Now it will be available to you as a black woman in the future to pair up with. See, they further add to their demise, man. And it's all because they're greedy and want power, and they don't know how to go for power, and they don't know what to do with power. And then the little jobs or positions that they got, because it's all it is, it's not really any power. They're being used as pawns. They don't use it to better the community, to even start families, to even uplift uh, another black man, you know, to assist or help. Now, when black men get money, we go look for us a woman. We try to start a family. We try to be a provider and a support system and always a crutch and a backbone for our families. When we get money, black women don't do that. They spend it. They waste it. Uh, they use it for lifestyles. They don't use it for long-term future building goals, uh, future securing goals. They don't use money for that. So now you had the opportunity to see if this could produce more quality black men for you, and you interfere with that, or at least prolonged it, because the situation with Trump is not over. So I just wanted to break that down to y'all to get y'all to see the insanity. You know, and this is why I tell you I don't deal with the BW. You know, and it's not hate speech. It's not hate. You know, I do not hate the BW. I just don't deal with them no more, and I don't care for them because they are not as smart as they think they are, and they do not think, and they are selfish, and they really don't look at reality and assess it properly. Uh, Very bad at cause and effect. Very bad at numbers. I mean, horrible. Now, and this is why you have to stay away from them, because these are the decisions. I mean, go. I mean, you need to put what I just said probably within the last few minutes or so. You need to put that on repeat and really, 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 really go over that forwards and backwards quite a few times. That is the basis of why I don't fool with BWs. They are self-destructive, very self-destructive, and they cause chaos. And probably since the late '80s, they've been like that. Uh, there's no, I don't think there's anything we can do about it. I really don't. Now, let's get into the other stuff. Let's get into the other stuff, man. All right, so we know Biden is heavily embedded with China uh, in many different ways, lots of different deals through lots of different corporations and entities, government contracts, government to government contracts. His son Hunter Biden is in all kind of mess. He's doing the same stuff as well, but he's messy. Plus, he's a drug addict. Now, there's other things related to the human trafficking and child molestation allegations. Which goes from the Democratic Party all the way to Hollywood and Epstein. I mean, that's just too much to talk about, but the connections are there. That's some other stuff. We're just gonna focus on China. All right. We're gonna focus on the government contracts, private and underhanded contracts, and the many different corporations under the Bidens, the Clintons, and most of the Democratic Party as well, that they have with China. I was in a conversation with OG in the Manosphere. I ain't gonna say his name. I ask him about that later, see if that's okay. For right now, I'm just gonna keep his name discreet. But I went on the stream, went on the panel. The panel itself wasn't a bad panel. I'm just getting to where sometimes I have to go onto a panel to get access to somebody that I need to have a discussion with in the manosphere. You just got to take that risk sometimes with a panel being crowded, and that's my only thing. Panels tend to get crowded, and you can easily get sidetracked from your thought process, or get caught up in a different topic other than what the original topic is, or what you actually needed to say to the person that you need to speak to get the proper discourse and feedback back and forth. So I talked to the OG, right? The last two, I had like 3 interactions with him. The first one was sloppy because I jumped in on the subject that I should have never really got caught up on, or even talked about in the first place. I should have just skipped over that and went to the first, my main 2 issues I want to talk about. So, of course, I had to talk about the election. Now, on that stream, they were basically or basically saying that Trump lost, which, me knowing the voting process, I knew that he hadn't lost. I knew that it wasn't over with. And I had to play a little dumb, too. I didn't want them to know the things that I knew. So I asked questions like I was learning or playing a little dumb. Shame on me for that. But, sometimes you got to do that. Because you want to see what the other person say. Because a lot of people now, this is one thing you need to understand. A lot of people do a lot of talking like they know something. And it sounds good, but then you realize that they don't know enough, or they may not know at all what they're talking about. Now, this OG, he knows a lot, but I think it wasn't the fact that he's in favor of Biden winning, thinking that it's over for Trump. I'm just thinking that That's more so his preference versus him actually knowing what's going to happen. So me and him talked about that. He said, "Yeah, it's not over." He verified that it wasn't over. Uh, so that was easy. Now, the other thing which was hard to get out of him was to get him to admit that the things going on in this election amounted to a first for him, being that he has seen a lot of fuckery before. So I was able to pull out of him that what he's seen in this current election was a first. I left it at that, but I didn't want to go. I didn't want to delve into the situation further. That's all I needed to verify through him, because I know you talking about a 60-plus-year-old man that's very adept, so he's seen a lot. But the thing was, I didn't go further into the first because I knew it was just more than one first in this election. That's what I kept to myself. Okay. Now, me knowing that, I ended it on that note. I ended it on that note. All right. So, some of the details that he gave me, those are the most important things I wanted y'all to hear right off. But some of the details he gave me led up to uh, green energy versus the fossil fuels. This is why there's an issue about the fracking, uh, which is also related to cryptocurrency. We got a lot of brothers in this particular space that's dealing with Bitcoin and trying to get guys on board with Bitcoin, a form of cryptocurrency. China has just about switched their monetary system over to cryptocurrency. And then China is involved in a lot of green technology. China is actually headed in green technology, but China has other problems that the green technology thing sounds noble, but that was something that they had to go to, and they had to do it at accelerated pace because China has a population problem which extends to a land and space problem. That's why China is doing a lot of colonizing from here to Africa and other places. Uh, they're doing a lot of colonizing because they're hurting for the space. They're also hurting for the resources to accommodate that large population. And the industrial way of doing things for them would deplete them to the point of uh, what would you call it? It's on the tip of my tongue, but it'll be a very bad situation for them. So they're racing against time for more land, more resources, and alternate energies and things of that nature to sustain their population and economy. And that's why they've led in this and made the transition. Okay. Now, the population control itself, the reliance upon the industrial way of doing things and using resources for that would deplete them dramatically to a point of despair. So those are the bad reasons related to the green energy, uh, the transference over to cryptocurrency. Now, the Paris Accord goes into that a little bit because you talk about climate change, pollution. At one point in time, China was, I'm talking about, China was just putting all kinds of toxins into the world at the rate that they were moving industrially. So, they were literally killing themselves. I remember looking at articles and many segments in the past where, uh, especially Hong Kong, they was dealing with the worst smog effect that you could ever imagine. Okay. Um, Now, Biden, his connection, you know, To me, he just had bad business intentions. He's got bad habits. He's an evil person. So I don't think he was doing good business with China, and I don't think he was doing it for noble reasons. Uh, and I also told the OG that I think the Paris Accord would be the first thing that he undo. They talked about it being COVID. See, I've always had in the back of my head, something told me not to take COVID as serious as I should. Not saying that COVID wasn't real and people could die from it, but I knew that they controlled this thing. And it just so happened now that we had that false president-elect uh, call over the weekend, and simultaneously, shortly thereafter, now, Biden was announcing that a vaccine was already ready. See, this is how I knew that COVID was some bullshit. And basically, and I'm glad I'm talking about this right now, that COVID was basically, what I'm saying, constructed between China and the Democratic Party to figure out a way to have an avenue to get Trump out of office, get Trump out the way, period. So it's all making sense. It's all making sense. Okay. Now, America hasn't transitioned or isn't set to transition. They're running behind China a little bit as far as being able to transfer over to cryptocurrency. And we're still, our currency is still too much tied into oil and fossil fuels. The old industrial way. Clean and green energy and alternative green sources. We want to gradually make that transition because we don't want to destroy our economy in order to solidify somebody else's economy who's a little bit ahead of us on that. We don't want to do that. All right, we want to gradually work our way into that. Okay, which makes sense. So, also, we have some technology and some resources that China still needs from us that they just don't quite have just yet. So we do have advantage there. Now, the OG broke some of that down, and I was able to put some of that together myself. So I see what's going on. Now, as far as them trying to steal the election, it goes back again to China trying to get, in conjunction with the Democrats and Biden at the lead, to get Trump out the way. So America will get sold out because China's not going to do a deal where they're not on top. All right, now here's the thing. Let's get back to the election, right? Because you want to hope that Trump wins. Pretty much everything I talked about, you want to be able to move forward through Trump, through the patriarchy, and through his policies, because those are the best policies right now. Those policies are going to maintain America, and it's going to allow you at least the opportunity or a chance to establish yourself, more as a man, and be able to continue to give you more time as the man you want to be. Because we don't know if he wins. We don't know if they'll strike again or when they'll strike again, but they will come again. If he wins, they will come again. Just like they know he'll come back if they win, in which he should. And I'm going back. So should you. Now, if Trump wins, and which is looking like he's back on course, he's just got to do it through the litigation and, administrative remedies aspect of it. Now, what does that do for you? Well, it automatically makes you eligible for a class action civil suit or federal tort for interfering with a fair election, which is your right. So that's money for you. So you should want to hope that he does win and proves voter fraud, because that's money for everybody that voted Republican. That was a deprivation of your rights. Okay, so that's a very good jewel right there. So keep that in mind. Uh, I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue. If I don't come in, like I really don't have the mind right now to be talking about some off the wall topics. I kind of want to stay on this, and I want to take my time to get all the information I get, and I want to summarize it for y'all. You know, I wish I had a better setup. I wish I could screen share. You know, and do slides or whatever, and show y'all links. But don't worry about that. You know, because everything that I'm saying uh, is pretty much as I'm seeing it. As I'm seeing it, if I have a hunch, I'll share the hunch with you. If the hunch comes to pass and verify, I'll double back. You know, but just stay tight, stay the course, stay the course, stay the course, and watch this thing play out. Uh, and I'm gonna be right there with you, family. So I'm gonna get on out of here. It's your boy Zulu Gunner. Like, share, subscribe, comment. You know, y'all be safe. Continue to. Oh, one more thing. One more thing. If you notice on a lot of these voter fraud footages, they've got black men in them, and then you got idiot women like Pam Keith saying stuff like black women this and black men that, as well as others. You know, I don't really have social media. I left social media a long time ago. I get information on social media through other sources. But if y'all, any of y'all have social media, please, please put the word out that from all the footage and from idiots like Pam Keith and other black women and other black people that are Democratic, that are giving credit for black people voting Biden in or bashing black people for voting for Trump, you need to tell them to stop putting black people in the middle of a crossfire and throwing black people under the bus, because that's what they're doing. They're allowing the top tier to uh, formulate narratives just like the media is, to put us in the mix, in the midst, in the middle of everything. So you need to stop that. You need to stop that if y'all got other platforms that y'all can speak out on, and you can share this. So these idiots, whether they're talking about the people who voted for Biden or the black people who voted for Trump, the black people for either side, they're putting us in the middle of a brewing stove, and they don't realize what they're doing. Okay? So you need to tell these people to stop saying this stupid shit. Stop saying black people this and black people that in regards to who put Biden in office and who voted for Trump. Because if different groups get friction and they start fighting, a lot of energy is going to be directed at us, and they're not going to care whether you voted for Biden or Trump. So you need to tell these idiots to shut the hell up, because they're fucking stupid. You know, please spread the word. Please spread the word. But it's your boy Zulu Gunner. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Family, y'all be safe. You know what I'm saying? I'm in your corner. I'm on the job. I'm on the watch. And I'm out.